Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 74 of the Almost Daily Show with your host, Chandler, and
the Dave Picardi.
And we've got a very special guest who's tapping his fingers right now and having a merry old time. It's Danny Lear. Introduce yourself, Danny.
My name is Danny Lear, and I'm glad to be here.
You know what?
That's quite.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks.
Gosh. How are we going to follow that up?
Yeah, well,
I don't know if we can.
I've been practicing.
I think I just realized that you have a voice for radio.
Oh, that's not. I have a face for radio.
Voice is nice.
He has the voice of an angel.
That's right.
Oh man,
keep taking the top spot.
You could say that 100 times and it would never get old.
That's true.
That's right. And like we always say, your voice could make a Wolverine purr.
I've heard that. I think the first time I was told that was like a second grade, if I recall.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
By the teacher.
Nice. Yeah, Mrs. Duarte.
Oh, he sounds like a nice one.
That wasn't actually my second grade teacher's name. I just couldn't remember what my second grade teacher's name is, so I made one up.
That's pretty quick.
That's quick thinking. I like that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's what we do on here.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sometimes when you don't know what to talk about, you just make shit up, and then magically you talk about other stuff.
Yeah, Miss Duarte.
Mm-hmm. Miss Duarte. So if you guys don't know, Danny is one of the co-owners of Caffeine and Kilos, and he also owns a gym, CrossFit Excel, right, Danny?
That is correct. Yep.
So he's a champion on two fronts.
Yeah. And my mom thinks that I'm cool and likes every post I make on Instagram. So
that's how you know you got a good mom.
3-time champion.
That's all I need to know about you. Then you're cool with me.
Guaranteed. If I post that I did this, she will watch and listen. Zero chance that my wife does, but 100% that my mother will.
So, you know what? Our significant others only watch this when we force them to, because when we think the sound sucks.
That's
so
right.
Moms are always there. Moms love it.
Yeah, and then I always assume my wife's not going to. Then every now and then, and I'm talking like 1 out of 10, she'll say it, like she'll say something about one of the something I did. And I'm like, oh, you listened to that? She's like, oh yeah, Then she makes some excuse like she didn't have anything else possibly going on, and it's like, oh, I was busy vacuuming, and I figured while I'm doing one thing I don't fucking like, I might as well double down.
I like that.
And she's like, I could never possibly watch it unless I was distracted.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I don't like doing this and I don't like doing that, might as well do them at the same time,
That's right.
Extra distracted.
Awesome.
That's how it works. I'll be like, Steph, can you watch my show? And she'll be like, oh, do I have to? And she gets upset and angry about it.
Yeah.
I get no problem. My wife's the best. She'll listen to the show if we tell her to. She gives us no feedback, but that's okay.
So, say, what do you think? And she go,
just like, nothing.
No, I don't know. That's why I asked you. That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I really want your feedback.
That's so funny. That's something that I get frustrated when people do, but then I do it. They're like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, no, I want to know what you think. That's why I asked you, And then just earlier today, Dean came in. We're working on these new shorts, whatever. And Dean comes in and goes, hey, what do you think of this logo size? I said, whatever you think. As well, I want to know what you think. And it hit me. I was like, shit, I just did the thing that I don't like when other people do, But
I did it too.
I did it too.
You recognize it.
Yep. Self-actualization.
That's right. That's right.
It's true.
So we've been in the business a long time, gym business and now marketing side of it. And I can tell you that, personally, we've met lots of people, especially now that this whole CrossFit affiliate world's blown up. Right. And then the businesses servicing the CrossFit affiliate world right, has blown up even more. I think that's where everybody's finding their real success in the business.
Right.
Tell us about that. So you're on both fronts, which is pretty cool. And you're one of the coolest dudes we've ever met in the space. So,
oh, man.
Makes it even more special.
Something else that my mom would agree with and my wife would not.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, so CrossFit Excel Health and Fitness, we started in 2008. So not at the very beginning, but relatively early on in the just prior to, I think, the big boom of CrossFit anyway. So we've been doing that. So I've had that going on for a while. And then Caffeine and Kilos, we started in 2013. So by that point, I had a lot of experience kind of in the CrossFit world. And again, before like the major boom and when it really kind of blew up. And so that definitely was helpful to kind of know a lot of the people and a lot of kind of influential people in the space. And so, yeah, like you said, it's interesting. There's the people of the gyms, and you can have success in a gym if you do it the right way and believe in the right systems and that type of stuff. But yeah, a lot of people are kind of finding a lot of success getting to the people. I mean, here's the thing. You have a gym, you could be absolutely crushing it, right? But let's say, what is crushing it for a CrossFit gym? What are we talking, like 300 members, 200 members? Like, you know, that's how many people you're impacting, you know what I mean? And how many people you can really kind of work with there. And obviously you can run your programs to be more or less successful within that, but still that's pretty much the cap, you know? So when you start working on a broader scale or working either with the gym owners, you know, you're talking about the thousands. And then when you start talking about just people in CrossFit in general, then that's when you're getting into the, you know, hundreds of thousands of people, and you can make a bigger impact. There's more people you can actually help and service and just, like I said, make an impact with. And then from there, you spread that out to, again, just like the greater fitness community, powerlifting, weightlifting, and then just, you know, fitness in general, whatever. But whereas, again, at your gym, you can only really help people that are at your gym.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's a big world. Big world out there.
Yeah. It's a big, you know, it's funny. People always, and man, that's one thing too, is like gyms, people opening gyms. So we've been one of the oldest ones around. And so pretty much every gym that's local to us, they used to go to our gym, and then it was members and they coached for us and left to open their gym. And that never bothered me. People are like, oh, what do you think? It's like, man, I hope they do a really good job, because if they like don't do a good job and hurt people or don't run their businesses the right way, that's going to turn people off to, you know, us. And so we obviously want them to do a good job. And the other side is, I don't care if they all kind of opened up in an adjacent town, but even if they opened up right in town, that wouldn't bother me. Like, what percentage of the entire population has any gym membership? You know what I mean? Like exactly. 9% of the entire population has, and then what percentage of those people actually go to the gym? Right? It's like, so realistically, probably like between 1 and 3% of the entire population, like actually like exercise. You know what I mean? And it's like, why do I give a shit? Like, you can open up right next door for all I care. Like, that is like, there are thousands and thousands of people in town that are not members of any gym. I'm worried about those people, you know, kind of on the same front. I don't know if you know Bedros Keuilian, but Bedros is the Fit Body Boot Camp. Right. He's
got a cool name. I don't know, but that's a cool name.
Anyway, so it's funny. People ask him when he talks about CrossFit, sometimes he'll say like, wasn't CrossFit your competition? Because he does the Fit Body Bootcamp franchises. And he's like, no, man, CrossFit's not my competition. McDonald's is my competition. You know, like, there are way more people that don't go anywhere. Why am I trying to like steal your members when there's all these people who nobody's helping, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And if we had like the philosophy where we're stronger together than we are apart, and like we had every gym in the community working together to do things, everybody shows up at health fairs together, everybody works together, puts in like their marketing and all that stuff together, then you'd be able to crush everything, because you guys are all working towards a common goal, and people are going to go to the destination that's like the most convenient for them.
Absolutely. That's it, you know? And with the Open, for example, we actually, because I know all the owners in town, is I got in contact with them, and we rotated on Friday nights. We do Friday Night Lights, but I don't want to host 5 or 6 Friday Night Lights in a row. That sounds exhausting. But like, what if I do week 1 and you do week 2 and you do week 3 and you do week 4, and then all of our members can go to this gym one week, this gym, and like spread it out? Then that's kind of cool for the members. They can do like a kind of a different environment, more competitive environment. Even if they're doing it for fun, it's like just something outside the norm. You know what I mean? And like, we can all work together to provide a positive experience for all of the members, and they can socialize together and all that type of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I love working with the other local gyms and local affiliates, and never really understood why anybody would wish anybody poorly for any reason, let alone when you are in complete control of what you're doing. So why don't you just like worry about your own shit? And if you're dialed in, why do you care what they're doing? You know,
exactly.
Like, I hope someone does move in next door, because if nothing else, that's going to drive me to be better. like, thank you for helping me to improve myself, actually,
But, I think you just nailed it. So I think what happens is most of the people that got into the gym space during that boom phase weren't actually like real coaches that were trying to change lives and really be in the business for the reasons of being a coach in the business. A lot of them got into the business because it was the cool thing to do. It changed their life. They were passionate about it, but they didn't have the approach. Most of them didn't actually personally become like really engaged and experts and all that, but they owned a gym. And so I think that's where the problem comes in, is because you also said it, like the client's experience matters. Yeah. So they're not, putting in the work and trying to deliver the best possible, coaching and experience to a client. They were just trying to also get a piece of theirs. And I think that there is room for everybody, but I think that's why you're seeing now so many struggle, because they weren't real experts, but they tried to be,
Mm-hmm. And I'm, back to like, there is room for everybody, because everyone's got their own like kind of little niche or niche, however you want to say it, if you want to be fancy within it anyway. Like maybe we have a really nice gym. Like we have a nice lobby space that has like stained concrete floors and leather couches, and like people sign in when they come into class. A novel idea. Like, we're just really like a nice facility. Like we have like nice showers and all that stuff, right? Other gyms you walk in and it's kind of dirty. There's chalk on the floor and there's like whatever, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that's better or worse. That's just like different clientele and different people. Some people walk into that gym that's like a little more grungy and they're like, this is badass. Looks like Rocky trains here. Hell yeah. And like that attracts some people, you know what I mean? Whereas other people would walk in there and be like, I don't know. Like I'll just, that may turn them off. Just like someone might walk into my facility and it's funny. It sounds like it might be like too nice. Like, you might walk in and be like, I don't really know kind of about this type thing. Even when you walk on the gym floor, it looks like a CrossFit gym, but still it's like, maybe that's not what they're looking for type deal. Maybe they want a gym that they can spit in the corner when they get tired. You know what I mean? That's not us, but maybe there's someone else for that. And that's okay.
Years ago, we had a lot of sports teams in, and we had these kids I don't even know where they came from with like mentality wise, but sports teams come in, we get all this turf, and these kids are like working hard, and then all of a sudden you watch them, they spit on the turf, and you're going, what? Oh my God, right? Like, I get the Zamboni out, you're disinfecting while the high school kids are training.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you had a good point about the gyms working together and doing all this stuff, and people picking what's going to make sense for them. And we always talk to gyms about the fact that you need to know what your specific culture and what your specific identity is, and what your gym actually means to you, and how you want to portray that, and who do you want to attract. Yeah. And if everybody focuses on them and building that identity and that culture and the aspect where they speak directly to the people they want to speak.
Right.
Gym in town, you can have one literally next door to you and send people over there when it's a better fit, and they can send people to you and you can work together.
Yeah.
And it creates this culture of common experience amongst gyms where everybody's like, oh, you go to this place if you want all the fancy stuff. You go to this place if you want the grungy stuff.
Right.
That place over there does weird stuff. And so they're the weird people. But everybody has their own different environment and their own different exclusive communities that they cater to.
Dude, if you're really into weightlifting, you find a gym that has someone who's an expert on weightlifting. If you're really into, if you're just one of these Metcon monsters and all you want to do is shit that takes 45 minutes and just tank your testosterone level, go to the local guy who only programs hour-long workouts. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
Whatever. Like, it is what it is. But, and I know that's like, I sound like I'm making fun of one there, and I kind of am. But like, I'm also not. Like, I really believe like the best fitness program is the one you follow, right? And so it's like, dude, if that's what you're into, go there and do that. That's great. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally fine. And so I think that a lot of people don't understand that. Like, maybe I think it's an ego thing where people don't understand that they are not the best place for everybody else. Like, I get that. Like, I love my gym. I love everything about it. But you know what? Like, some people would maybe be a fit somewhere else. And that's okay. Like, that doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, there's a gym down the street that does, for high school kids, or is like literally half the price, right? Because they just make it so cheap because they want to get high school kids in there. If you're in high school, you should probably go there. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we would definitely help you and could do a good job of serving you and making you more fit. But it's like, you know what? Like, if you're paying your own way and you're 16 years old and you're mowing lawns, like, yeah, dude, go there. Like that'd be a great environment for you. Lots of other high school kids. That's okay. You know?
That's good.
And so I think it's an ego thing where people think that they're just going to be better on all fronts. And that's just generally not true.
Yeah. And I think it's also, you know, it's the relationship side. So it's also, you know, you could have, because I know, you know, your specialty, or one of them is weightlifting, another one's coffee.
Right.
Get into that.
Yeah.
But so weightlifting. So if my specialty is weightlifting and Chandler's specialty is weightlifting, and even though we're all cool dudes, if we all had a gym on the same block, there's going to be people that like me, and they're going to come to me, and there's going to be people that like you, you know, and maybe people leave me, go to you, and go, oh, I like Dave, I'm going back to Dave, or vice versa, right?
Yep.
Like, so it's also your ability to build relationships with your clients,
right,
and connect with them, not just on a training side. I think that's the part that is super important.
Well, and you know, it's funny. People get caught up thinking like a gym's different, but really look at all these other aspects of life, right? Like if you have kids, and you hear this all the time, like some of their kids are in gymnastics somewhere. And like you can ask all these parents like, hey, okay, I got a 4-year-old. I want to get her in gymnastics. What's best place to go? And you'll get 3 different people to go to 3 different places that all say the place they take their kids the best. And probably 2 of those 3 people used to go to one of the other places and moved to the place they're at. Oh, I used to go here, but I didn't like this. Now I go to this place and it's great. Right. But then someone else going, oh, they still go to that first place. Oh, I go here. It's best thing ever. The coaches are great. And it doesn't mean that one's wrong. It's just they, for whatever reason, the times of the classes or the personality of the coaches or the way it's run or whatever, the pricing, whatever it is, just meshes better with their, you know, proclivities. And that's totally fine. And so people, it's funny, like most adults would totally understand that. But then when it comes to like, my gym is different, everyone should come to me. Right. So like, well, no, man, like it's actually the same shit, you know?
Yeah. You get in this like selfish mode, like, oh yeah, I'm the best. I cater to everybody. I'm like, well, if you try to cater to everybody, you cater to nobody. And then the people who do like you are actually going to come to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There
that
it
was
is.
the point.
That was, well, you got me fired up. I actually sat here, so I'm going to point at him, you know?
You got that. You did it. It's the point.
So how does all this experience translate over to Hawking Coffee? Talk to us about coffee. That's more important.
So, so kind of funny is basically we find that everyone we know that works out drinks coffee. That's kind of a big part of it. Really, just a lot of people in general drink coffee. People in the fitness industry are definitely no exception. And so, so that's kind of the whole thing is, and then there's the apparel side of it, which a lot of companies are making shirts, but they're all super cheesy and, you know, just trying to make the best pun they could on a shirt, or the dirtiest pun. And like, that's fine. Like there's a market for that. That's great. But like, I don't want to wear that. When I go to pick up my daughter for preschool, I don't want a shirt that says, let me see your snatch on it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of not the thing. So we're like, well, what if we just make nice stuff that we could actually wear and would want to wear? You know what I mean? And then with the coffee, it's like, what if we just make good coffee, but that has a little higher caffeine content, you know? And so anyways, that's kind of how the whole thing came about. So, you know, really came from making stuff that we wanted. And then, as it turns out, other people wanted too. So that's good.
Yeah. Funny story. In 2013, when you guys were just starting, you came to our gym, worked out at 6 a.m. And then we drank sake bombs all night and marched the arch.
We did. Well, we marched from the arch. Well, no, everyone else marched from the arch. We marched to the arch, I think.
Oh, it's true. And we totally missed the march and then marched ourselves and then marched to another place.
Yeah. Yeah. But the arch was involved.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of did it. We were just 3 hours late.
Well, it was great. The best part was that morning we're watching the news and they say this guy comes on, oh, tonight's a big football game, whatever. And they're going to homecoming and we're going to march. We're going to march from the arch. Why don't you tell him about that? And he goes to next guy on screen. He's on scene. Yes, today they're going to march from the arch. It's like, what? Like, and that was it. That was it. Like,
genius.
He was a guy on scene, and he just like, repeat exact like verbatim, and we just started dying. We just started cracking up. I was like, holy shit, this is great. And so so then we got fired up and did a little marching from the arching ourselves.
Perfect. It was a really good march. We missed it. We made our own marching.
Well, party. I thought you were talking about our march. It was good. You know,
it was. Our march was incredible.
Is Reno? Is that the town? You guys got the bar where they have the tricycle races?
Yes, the Waldorf. We went there when we marched the arch.
Okay, because the other day someone said something about tricycle races somewhere at a bar, and I was like, man, but I couldn't remember where it was. I was like, I was in a town somewhere one time, and someone was telling me about this bar for like, it's a college town, somewhere the college kids go a lot and do it, but I couldn't. I was like, it's not Boise. I was trying to figure it out. But Reno, there it is. Just remembered it. You sparked a memory.
That was it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, you were even there.
I was there. I know. I said we went there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if we would have rode the tricycles that
Domination night? Is what would have happened. We would have crushed it.
I can't even imagine how good that would have been.
Oh, man.
You would have gone to the arches faster. That's for sure.
That's true.
That's true. We would have rode the arch. We wouldn't have messed around.
That's also true. Yeah, man.
So tell us, you started in 13. So if you could attribute, like, obviously there's an overall game plan, a marketing strategy, and kind of what you do. And I know you're a road warrior hitting events and everything, and the coolest dude to hang out with at the events. But
we have so many good times.
It's like that fun.
What, like in poutine, like for days, right? Up in Canada.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute most of your success to? You know, like kind of getting going and
one thing that's really important that a lot of people don't talk about or they gloss over is really is customer service. And that's like my whole mantra and everything is like, just be nice to people, treat people the right way, be nice to people. And so that comes into play with customer service as well. And how that comes into play is when you look at our orders now is, whatever, like 40% of our orders are returning or 50% are returning customers, And it's like, I always say, and the reason why that's not higher is because we're constantly doing outreach and growing, you know what I mean? But it's like, we always say that anyone can sell something once. Like, you can just be a really good salesman and you can sell someone a t-shirt, you can sell them a bag of coffee, you can sell anything to anybody if you're good enough.
Pen?
One time. Yeah. That's all you can one time, right? Sure. But then if the experience isn't positive, if it takes forever to get there and the box shows up and I open it and everything's all fucked up inside, maybe it's broke or whatever, or I just get it's just like not good quality and I don't really like it, I'm not going to buy from you again. You know what I mean? And that has, and another thing is I'm definitely not going to tell anybody about how great it is or how it feels, whatever, So it's like just having a quality product. That's one of our things, like say quality without sacrifice, having a good quality product and then serving people the right way is the best thing you can possibly do, because then you turn your customers, instead of just being a customer, they turn into a fan, right? And really an evangelist. Like they'll tell other people, like they're wearing this shirt and someone will say, hey, nice shirt. And they're like, oh yeah. Here's the thing. What do you say? And someone says, hey, nice shirt. Do you say, oh yeah, thanks? Or do you go, oh man, thanks. It's actually the most comfortable shirt I own. Shit. Like there's a big difference there, And so that's kind of a big part of what we do. Is just really believing that, delivering quality and helping people the best we can. And then as far as the outreach and everything, we do a lot of kind of influencer work. Part of what we do and part of our mission statement is to help athletes in sports like weightlifting, where there's really not a lot of money. And so we have some athletes to work with and we help them out there. And then obviously they promote the products and help us out, as well as just reaching out to other athletes and popular people on social media and just kind of giving some product in their hands. And, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's okay. And just kind of going from there. So that's something else that we really do quite a bit of. And then there's a lot of things we just kind of dabble in, that we're working on doing more of, or, you try something and if it works, you keep doing it and just kind of going from there. But a big part is we're just always trying to, like, everything you do, you should be always like questioning, like, how can I make this better? Right. And so, if you're just always thinking that way and you're just always trying to improve, then you're going to end up in a good place. And so,
yeah, that's huge. And that's ultimately building that culture of caring amongst everybody who associates with you in your business. And if you do that, that's when you create that set of raving fans, like you're saying, where people, it's not necessarily in the products you sell. It's just, I like those guys. They're incredible. Right. Every time I interact with them, I'm a winner or I feel special. So I'm going to keep going back and buying their stuff and interacting with them.
Like a couple of weeks ago, I go in, I sit down with the girl who does our customer service. And I said, hey, Jasmine, like, what is, like, you get all the emails from everybody that's upset. And so part of her job, she knows also, is to take those people who are upset and like, how can you make that person a fan for life? right? Like they're obviously not happy with something. Well, what can we do? What can you do that will make them actually make this a positive experience? Because I'll tell you what, like say I buy something and it's the wrong size, the wrong color, or it's whatever, there's a tear or whatever's going on. If I contact the company, it's like, hey, by the way, I got this, not really what I was looking for. If they get back to me, like within 24 to 48 hours maximum, and say, hey, sorry about that, like, let me send you another one right away, is that whatever the whole thing, and they do a good job of taking care of that, that's actually, I'm going to think higher of that company almost than if I got it and it was in perfect condition. You know what I mean? Because like the way they handled that situation. And so you can make that impact on people to where you actually can make fans, bigger fans out of the people who could have had what would have potentially been a negative relationship, you know? And then the other thing is, so I go in there and I say, hey, so what are the main complaints? Like you get emailed all kinds of stuff. Like what are just like the 2 or 3 things that you see most common? She goes, oh, okay, let me think about it. And let me hear, oh, here we go. And we wrote them down on the whiteboard. Here are the 2 or 3 biggest problems. And they go, okay, what do we think we could do to solve these things? You know what I mean? Like, and she was a big part of that. You know, it's not about like, okay, thanks for your input, and then I'm going to go over here and talk to the, you know, it's like, all right, well, you're the one communicating with these people. Like, what do you think, you know, we could do, or what systems could we put in place to avoid this? Anyway, so it's just a lot of times there's little changes too. You know, it's like there's confusion on international orders on something. It's like, oh, well, maybe in the sales email, the receipt, right, that we could just add a line in there for international orders, expect blah, 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 you know, and just like that understanding. So anyway, a lot of times it's like little things like adding a sentence into an automated email that can really make a big difference. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what you're describing is constantly reanalyzing just kind of everything in the company. So I know for me in the gym business, we're always trying to systemize even the analyzing of all the stuff. It's like, okay, so we've gone through everything. Now it's back to the beginning. Let's reanalyze it. Let's improve it. It's never stopped. And it's, just because it works well now doesn't mean that it's the best way to do it.
Or it works well now, but is it the absolute best it can be? You know what I mean? You have a new client take their on-ramp program. You go, oh, my on-ramp program's fucking nailed down. Oh, that's awesome. What percentage of those people sign up on long-term agreements? If the answer is not 100, try to fix something. If the answer is 100, okay, cool. That's so how do you get more people into that program? You know what I mean? Like there's always something, right? Or it's 100. You go,
yeah, even your best processes.
Yeah, actually taking.
Yeah, and even like your best processes.
Yeah, taking the things that are your best processes and how can you improve them further? You know, that's a good thing as well. You know, so.
I think this is also a conversation about being a good like business owner and entrepreneur, where it's never good enough. You know, it's always about, how do I charge forward? How do I, improve what I have? Or, if everything's perfect, you can't just sit in a lawn chair by the pool. It's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be perfect forever. You know what I mean? That's nothing's perfect. Right. The other thing is, like, even if it is,
I'm looking at 3 perfect guys on the screen, though. I mean, we're pretty amazing.
Oh man, we are. I mean,
we're
handsome.
So it's like, yeah, exactly. But you know what? You say that, and I'm going to go back later, and I'm probably going to trim my beard. You know what I mean? Try and make it a little better.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not changing anything.
You're just
gotta fix everything.
There you go. Hey, do you want to do metaphors? Great example. Be like, oh man, hair looks great. So you don't change anything. Well, then what happens 3 months from now? It's not going to look the same, is it? You know what I mean? Because you didn't touch it because it was perfect. And so that's that obviously translates directly to business.
Yeah, 100%. You got to trim your hair. Yeah. And this is fun. This goes into the concept of continuously trying to put yourself out of business. So what you were doing 2 years ago should be completely obsolete in comparison to what you're doing now. So like your best processes 2 years ago are your worst ones now.
I agree 100%. You know what else about that is that I think that starts in your personal life, and it's kind of some people, whatever, maybe I'm getting weird, but like, dude, the simple fact is it does.
You're
well, it does begin your because it's habits are habits. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. Like here's kind of funny, but like flossing. Like everybody knows you're supposed to floss, but like I wasn't flossing. Like it's funny. Like there's this meme. The guy's in a dentist chair, and his dentist says like, "When's the last time you flossed?" And he looks at the dentist and he goes, "Dude, you were there." You know, I was like, point at him. You did it. Dude, you did it, you know? And so, anyway, it's kind of funny. So I'm sitting here, I'm going like, why is it that I'm being so fucking like, how long does it really take? Like, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause a lot of times, like, I was being lazy, like, I don't want to floss tonight, whatever. But it's like, I know it's good for me. There's all these crazy studies that show it actually like helps with heart disease, however the hell that works, but it does. I'm like, why am I really so like busy or lazy that I can't take like the 30 seconds it's going to take to floss? And so then I just like, well, that's a great example. Like that, where else does that go in my life? Like what else in my life am I doing or skipping over or not doing because it like seemed like it's inconvenient at the time? So it starts with little things like, all right, dude, I'm going to floss every day. And right, this is actually a true story from like 6 months ago. So like, I'm going to floss every single day and like make it a goal and make it something you do. You know what I mean? And it just was kind of part of what I did, started doing it. Now it's like, sometimes I'll go to reach the toothbrush first and like, just fucking do it. Don't be a lazy piece of shit. And so like, I'll get, you know, but it's like something I think about and like make the effort to do that. Right. And so making those little changes may seem like it's unrelated to stuff you do, but like it totally relates. I might be going through an email and there's one that I'm like, I know I have to do something small with that, so I'm just gonna ignore it. Well, it's like, what for? Like, if it's something small with that, we'll just do it. You know what I mean? And
if you ignore it, that means you're not gonna go back to it. You might as
I'm going to wait until a day when I have where I'm even busier than I am today. You know?
Right. Like it's ever gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I agree.
So I feel like you're talking about me.
Yeah, you're gonna start flossing.
You know, I floss every day, so that's a habit that you have to have. It's but the email thing, thing.
It's like, well, because it's something small, and you're like, I know I gotta do. I know it'll only take a minute, but since it'll only take a minute, I'll do it later, right? And like on to the next one, and then they get blows up, you know. Next thing.
Yep, it's true. Then you have thousands in your inbox.
I have this thing where,
and then you never answer them.
I have this thing that works like you could set it up where there's one called Boomerang. I use a different one, but you can set it to like snooze and it'll pop back up in your inbox at whatever time you say. So I'll say like, oh, like whatever, come back in 4 hours, and it'll pop back in 4 hours, or I'll say like in tomorrow or next week, whatever. So it'll pop back in. So when it pops back in, I know I've seen it before. I'm like, all right, I really need to like do something like this again, you know, rather than keep laying it out.
Yeah.
But then if it's some least thin, what that does, it helps me not to just have things pile up, because when things pile up, makes it easier to pile more things up, you know?
It's true. And that's one of the points habits. Like miss it too. So things start piling up and then you miss 3 emails, and then that's when customers start getting mad at you, or when you forget to do the things you need to do, and then you have to go fish them out.
Yeah.
So if you have these processes and these strategies to be like, it reminded me, like Slack.
Right.
Sometimes I'll look at someone's message and then it's gone forever if I don't tell the Slack bot to remind me. So then it pops up and reminds me 3 hours later.
Yep.
And then I know, I need to do this. I'm prioritizing it.
Exactly.
Slack bot. What Danny did to make sure that his customers were taken care of was he hired a customer service person. So now that's their responsibility to keep them happy.
That's right. That's exactly it.
That's a good habit. So as a business owner, that's a good habit, is if you're not able to do it, make sure that you hire someone
and
to do
that's the
it.
whole thing too, is like hiring. Like I know a lot of people, especially gym owners and stuff, it's like small business. Like, well, I can't afford that. You know what I've really found in the past year or two is that hiring people is actually way cheaper than you think it's going to be. And it's like you hear all the time, all you hear about and all you read about anytime anyone talks about business is like, oh, employees are so expensive and hiring people is so expensive and there's the taxes and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you need to take care of all that stuff. But how many hours do you actually need someone for? You know, and you're like, well, you really only need someone for like 10 hours a week, like perhaps like to start off 2 hours a day, 5, right? Or whatever, but like 10 hours a week. Okay. Well, then how much are you actually going to pay? Yeah. Like, well, say you pay minimum wage because it's a entry level, you know, whatever. It's a, you know, friend's kid or a college kid, whatever. Anyway, say you're paying them, you know, $12 an hour and it's $10 a week. Like, okay, or 10 hours a week. So that's 120. You add the 20% on whatever, you know, we're talking like $150 a week. Well, then like, but what would that be doing for you? Like if you own a gym and that's customer service, that's like getting back to leads just to make sure every lead gets responded to within 24 hours. Like you only got to convert one of those people. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a crazy, it's not like this crazy thing, you know? So anyway, hiring people is actually way more affordable than people think it is.
It's true. And then in terms of like your time, you save so much time hiring those people to help you do things, so you don't become, especially in the gym world, an overwhelmed gym owner.
Well, because here's the deal. Here's another big part of it. Like, what quality of work are you doing? Like, I think people get saying ego, right? They cut up like, well, I'm obviously going to do a way better job responding to these people because it's my gym. I know all about it. Well, no, actually, it's your gym. You know all about it. You're probably the worst person to respond to them because you're going to tell them way too fucking much. You need someone who's going to talk to them like they're a normal person.
Yeah, right.
And like their sole job and their entire thing, they're talking to this person is to try and help them and like get them in. Whereas if you're making these callbacks, you might not be doing it right away because I'll call them tomorrow because you got something else going on that's seemingly more important at that time, you know, and what are your follow-up procedures? Like, are you taking the time to like record that call and your follow-up procedures on that? Like probably not if you're the gym owner because you got other shit going on, you know? Whereas if you have someone that's their sole job, they're probably going to have all that in line. So they're going to convert at a way higher rate than you would because they're going to be doing things the right way. And if you're like me, there's certain things that you know need to be done, but you don't really want to do yourself because they're kind of a pain in the ass. Whereas if it's your employee, you just be like, hey, by the way, make sure X, Y, Z, and they'll do it exactly the way you want it to be done, which most of the time is better than the way you're currently doing it.
Well, and I think that especially small business, like in our market, in the gym market, most of the market is small gym business owners, and they're trying to do it all, and ultimately what makes the really successful ones different usually is they do everything, right? There's all this stuff that has to happen in order for your business to be successful, and you got to get it all done. And if you are trying to do it all yourself, that means by definition, you're probably going to get most of it done. Right.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting most of it done, that means the stuff that you're not getting done, just know that that's probably the 10, 20% that's going to make you successful.
Right. And there are 20 things. There are so many hours in the day and you are going to sleep. And if you are coaching a lot of your classes, like that's taking a significant amount of time. And like, you know what I mean? Like things take time. And what are you doing? You're calling people back at 5 a.m. Like you can't just get up earlier and solve that problem. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. There's like certain hours where you need to call people back or like respond to people and that type of thing. And so it's not as easy as like, well, I'll just do more. Like how long does that really work? You know?
Yeah. How long can you last doing that? So the gym owners start with these 18-hour days, and then it's from morning until night they're working, and then they go home, and then they get burnt out after a year or two. And you have to learn to leverage yourself. So what am I capable of? How long do I want to work, and what am I good at? And then take everything that you're not good at and everything you're not capable of. And okay, now who can I hire, or what can I leverage to make that happen? And then you can ultimately grow and be the one who can be responsible for building everything while everybody else kind of works on what you need them to work on.
Absolutely. That's it. That's exactly it.
All right. We just solved all the problems of the gym business.
Glad I could teach. Glad I could teach
amazing.
Heads a thing or two.
Blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Incredible.
So let's plan on doing like at least a quarterly classroom where you come on.
I actually taught in the public education system for 8 years, so I would love to do that.
He's a master teacher. We're going to have live classroom sessions soon.
Let's do takeaways from today. So big takeaways.
Okay, I like this.
Big takeaways are don't be lazy and floss your fucking teeth. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Be nice to people, and being nice to people is good for business. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then the third one is 3 good-looking dudes.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. It doesn't even matter what we say because we look good doing it.
Yeah, there it is.
Boom. That's what's really important.
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So for the 1 or 2 people that listen to our show,
your mother's
gonna be one
probably
of them.
listening right now.
Yeah,
3.
So you brought a listener, and we brought a listener. This is really good.
We're crushing it.
That's how exponential growth starts.
How do they get a hold of you? So if they want to get wired on coffee, they want to buy the coolest gear from the West Coast.
Caffeineandkilos.com. Caffeine and Kilos, all spelled out. Caffeineandkilos.com. The gym is CrossFit Excel. So if you're in Northern California and want to check that out, you can check out CrossFitExcel.com. And my name is Danny Lear. And so Snapchat, one word, Danny Lear, DANNYLEHR. There we go.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Funny story.
Later.
My wardrobe is all Stone Age Fuel and Caffeine and Kilos. I don't think I have anything else actually. Maybe one Train Heroic shirt.
Funnier story is that his wardrobe is Caffeine and Kilos, Stone Age Fuel, and Out of the Cave.
That's true because I've seen him wearing an Out of the Cave t-shirt.
That's true.
Yeah. I do have one more.
It was a V-neck. It was a V-neck actually, but he was wearing it.
Yeah.
Oh, he was wearing it in Canada, so I didn't know if that was his Canada shirt.
I lost that.
Yeah, that was his Canada shirt. So he had those because I said when he got the t-shirts made, no V-necks, regular collars, and he said, perfect. And then he came up and handed me a whole bag of V-necks.
I was like, here you go. It's exactly what you asked for. He was like, what about polos? I was like, no, we don't do those anymore. Here's your V-neck.
You know what's funny is it's true, like changing times. Like polo, I see someone in a polo, I'm like, what's that? Where's he going? Like, what's he think? Where's like V-neck? I'm like, oh, that looks nice yet casual. Yeah.
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 Things have changed.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome, guys. All right.
It's true.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, guys.
Good times. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Check out Danny and Caffeine and Kilos and CrossFit Excel. Maybe check out all three. Their HQ is a fun place. If you guys have questions, shoot us an email or post it in the comments. Thanks for jumping on. See ya.